Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series, and today's hot topic, geez, what did I call it? Plague, anthrax, and cheese. Find out about the microbes that you leave behind on public transportation and the ones that you didn't know about. We're going to read a very interesting article, kind of funny, kind of scary, on the from the Guardian, and we're going to discuss it and see what you think about taking public transportation. We're going to do all that and more. First, a quick introduction about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. Let me get my name on the screen. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. I've been teaching English for over 100 years. No, that's not true. For over 1,000 classes on Verbling since joining 2 years ago in February 2013. I've taught general English to teens and adults, business English to major multinationals, and exam courses like the TOEFL, IELTS, and many others. So, follow that link that I just posted in the chat window, and you can then see all my upcoming group classes. But you can also schedule a private class with me, and together we will create a custom-tailored lesson and course to meet your particular needs. So that's what you can do with that link. And let's say hello to some people coming in. We've got our friend Alexei. Hello, Alexei. How are you?
Hello.
I saw you last week, I remember.
Yes.
You're from somewhere in Russia. Somewhere.
Yes.
I don't remember where, but I remember seeing you. How are you? Good?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
Excellent.
Good.
Well, we'll have some other people joining us in a moment, but like Carlos, see, I said that and we had new people. Look at that. Let's say a quick hello to Mr. Carlos. Hello, Carlos. How are you?
Hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, we lost Alexei. I think he lost his connection, Carlos. I don't know what happened to Alexei. Now,
No,
Carlos?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. How are you, Carlos?
Fine.
Very good, very good. And we've got Mr. Shinue. Hello, Mr. Shinue. How are you?
Hi, teacher. This is my first class with you.
Wait a second. I've seen you before. This can't be your first class. I think I saw you yesterday.
Oh, I forget that.
Did you go swimming today?
It's very cold outside.
No
I
river
always
today, huh?
stay at home and wait for your class.
Want to see something interesting? Take a look at this, everyone. And I don't know what happened to Alexei. Alexei, if you're having any trouble with the connection, just write me a little message and I'll try to help you. Okay, Alexei? Take a look at this, everyone. Let me see if I can share my screen. Look at this. Here's something you don't see every day. If you open our material for today, which I will post for you right now, open this, you will see the top of our map. And we're going to find out what scientists were able to do in the New York City subway and how it relates to you. So first of all, I put a little infographic in our material. Not the whole thing, but just the beginning. Microbes you leave on the subway. So you can see that there's a little subway map with different percentages. What you can't see is that at the very bottom of this, the biggest percentage says unknown. I think we have to read about this and find out what kind of creatures live in public transportation. It says human bacterial DNA comprise only 1% of the total genetic makeup of subway microbiome. And of that, and then they give a percentage of what part of the body the bacteria were found. What about all of you? Do you all take public transportation? What about you, Carlos? Do you have to take public transportation every day?
No, not usually. I live outside of Madrid, and
Yeah.
I usually get my car.
Ah, so you're not a public transportation commuter. A commuter is someone who's got who has to go a certain distance to work. But in this case, you drive, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do any of you have to take public transportation? Or are you all lucky? Maybe you're all very lucky. What about you, Jose? Do you drive to work? Do you walk to work?
Yes,
Or-
I take my car
Oh,
uh, when I have to go to the work.
okay. Very good. Wow, maybe I'm the only one that has to take public transportation. What about you, Alexi? How do you get to work? Alexi, are you there? Oh, maybe we're having a microphone problem with Alexi. Tell you what, let me go to a little warm-up first. And let me ask you, do any of those words sound familiar? Plague, anthrax, and cheese. I think you know what cheese is, but do you know what plague and anthrax are?
Anthrax is a chemical product, I think. A poison.
It is poisonous. It is. It's not chemical though. It is, maybe you know better than me, all of you. It's derived from it's a disease that affects cattle. So anthrax is, I don't remember exactly what it is now. If it's if it's fungal or if it's because I remember after September 11th, there was a huge scare in the United States because someone was sending anthrax to politicians through the mail. And if I remember right, when they opened an envelope, you could inhale like spores from a fungus and you could get infected. If I remember right, that's how it worked. So I think it's fungal. But yes, it's very deadly. It's a disease. And what about plague? What about plague?
Plague.
Hmm?
Plague is a serious infection.
A serious infection. And plague is famous because of what happened in the late Renaissance in Europe. What happened to the human population somewhere around the time of Shakespeare? Who knows history? A little
Well,
bit.
it was the pest, but
Which,
I think the main one was the main was before. It was in the middle of the 14th century.
it started there, yeah.
And affected mostly Europe.
Yeah, it started there in the 1300s, and it lasted up until the 1600s.
Mm-hmm. They would come and go.
Mm-hmm.
There was still some how do you say it? Boats. So
They practice.
Big, nasty black pustules would form on your skin, and
Both.
yeah, and your lymph. I think your lymph nodes would be overrun with this kind of pus. Nasty stuff. But we don't say pest. We say plague. Plague. Is it?
But when you say plague, it's because it's widespread. That's what you mean. But it was caused by the pest.
Pest? We don't say pest.
You don't use it?
No. Pest for us is like a rodent. Like a rat is a pest.
Yeah, but that plague was caused by black rats. So that's how it was spread.
Actually, they think it was spread by gerbils, not by rats.
By what? Gerbils? Ah, okay.
They
But they
think
have
it was,
roedors too.
yeah, they think it was spread by the fleas of gerbils.
That's it. Plague.
Yeah, and everyone thought it was rats. But they've done some historical research recently, and now scientists think that rats were blamed. In fact, the rats were less dangerous than little fun, fluffy gerbils. The gerbils got us. Well, it was the fleas. But anyway, the word pest is not the right word, because in English, in everyday English, pest is like some rodent, usually a rat or some rodent or something that's going to specifically, like pests will affect your crops or something like that. They'll put, or maybe infest, anything that infests. Maybe that's the right word. Because in Portuguese we say peste, so it's the same word as in Spanish, but that translates as the plague, capital P, which. So when I say the plague, I'm talking about bubonic plague.
Okay.
Bubonic plague. But I just want to be clear because about this, only because the word pest has an everyday meaning that is not the same as plague. That's why I mentioned that. But please, if I make a mistake, or if I'm crazy, which I might be, give me a link. And here's what I mean. The Black Death, bubonic plague. I'll give you a little link. By the way, in Old English, they may have said pest. Sometimes these words change. Here's a link to the Black Death, the bubonic plague. That's what they found on the subway. So, before we read this article, I want to get you used to some words. I want you to list, right now, in your head or on a piece of paper, I want you to list 5 diseases that can be spread, and I want you to share 1 or 2 with the group. So do a little brainstorming. Try to find the word in English, if you can, and let's see if we can compare lists. Okay, I'm going to do the same.
John, I didn't understand what was the meaning of cheese on this on this environment.
The meaning of just
cheese.
Oh, cheese. You're going to find out in just a moment.
Okay.
They found different kind of microbes, and they inhabit different things. So I think the clue for me is that they find microbes from cheese, as well as anthrax. Things you might not expect. Some from cheese, some from your body, some from unknown origins. So, everyone think of a few diseases. Let's see if we can compare lists. Let's brainstorm a little bit. What is a disease that you think could be spread in a public place? Okay? Any ideas?
A cold, for instance.
Okay. We say the common cold.
Flu.
Which is the flu.
The flu.
Mm-hmm. Flu can be spread. So the flu is from influenza.
Yes. The flu can be spread.
Absolutely. Very good. And what else? More serious stuff now.
Ebola.
Ebola. Ebola is a virus, isn't it? Ebola, I think, is a virus, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yes.
Yeah. But you're not very likely to get Ebola. Let's say a quick hello to Mr. Martin. Hello, Martin. How are you?
Hi,
How are you doing? Where are you from, Martin? Is it Martin or Martine? How do I pronounce your name right?
it's Martin,
Martin. Hi, Martin.
Hi.
Where are you from?
the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands. Hello, Martin. We're talking about a survey of public transportation. We're going to read an article.
Mhm.
They found some very unusual things on the New York subway. So we're going to read about it and talk about it. And right now we're doing a little bit of brainstorming to decide what kind of diseases we know about. And we're going to see if these are the things that they found in the subway. So we have the common cold can be spread, the flu can be spread, Ebola can be spread, although you're probably not going to get Ebola anytime soon. Any other diseases come to mind?
Malaria.
Malaria. Malaria is a serious one. Malaria is a serious one because it's so easy to prevent. Malaria is bacterial, isn't it? Do you know?
A virus? I don't know.
I don't think it is a virus, if I remember right, because it's really easily treatable. SARS. SARS is what? Is that bird? That's not bird flu, is it? I know the name.
SARS is a virus.
It's a virus. Is it bird flu? Or is that a separate thing? Severe acute respiratory syndrome. I guess bird flu has a different name because there's H1N1, H1N5. There's these different codes, and then we have common names like swine flu or pig flu, bird flu. Okay, very good. So those are some communicable diseases. Take a look at some of the vocabulary. I'm going to give you a definition. You tell me which word you think is the best match. Okay? A disease that spreads quickly, causing a high fever, lumps on part of your body, and in the past, usually death. A disease that we thought was wiped out. What do you think I'm talking about in that list?
Plague?
The plague is correct. 1 point to
Right.
Alexander. Okay. Alexander, read the next definition, and someone else is going to give the answer, but read it for us.
You mean number 2?
Yeah, please.
All right. Infectious, but usually minor illnesses.
Say it like this. Infectious.
Infectious.
Very good. Who's got that one? Number 2. Who's got it? Who's got it? Simple.
Babs.
Bags.
You're not supposed to answer your own question, Alexander.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
When I said who's got it, I meant who except Alexander's got it. Jose, you
Yes.
said drugs.
Is it correct?
It is correct.
Okay, bags.
Let's pretend that you said that before, Alexander. Jose,
Yes.
read number 3,
Okay.
and someone who is not Jose
Okay.
try to answer.
To make a list of the things in a collection.
This is
Math.
important.
Catalog.
Say what? Repeat. Catalog. To catalog as a verb. Excellent. Sylvia, read 4 for us.
To make a plan that shows the position of things in an area.
In an area. When you say this quickly, the N jumps to the area, and you say an area.
An area.
Perfect. Okay, someone who is not Sylvia, what word do you think we're talking about here?
To map.
To map. Very good, very good. Okay, let me give someone else a chance to read. Mr. Carlos, can you read number 5 for us?
A very small amount of a substance, especially when it is too small to see clearly or measure accurately.
Excellent. So this is kind of an adjective that we can use. So you can say a blank substance. Or it could be used as a noun, a blank of a substance. Make an educated guess. You can go to paragraph 2 if you want. You can skim ahead, or you can just tell me what word sounds right. Remember, we've already used plague, bugs, catalog, map. We've already used 4 of those words. Carmen, are you up for the challenge at number 5?
Number 5, trace.
Yeah. Trace! How come you didn't shout it out? How come you didn't say, oh, trace? And I would say, you're right.
Okay.
A trace amount means a small amount. Carmen, can you read 6 for us?
Okay, deliberately made a situation seem less serious or important, that is, or might be.
Mm-hmm. Someone who is not Carmen, what do you think the answer is for number 6? Deliberately made situation seem less serious. In other words, what does the government do to stop people from panicking? What do they do to calm everyone down?
Exactly that.
Exactly that. Okay? And remember, all the words are the blue words in that little bubble on top. So you don't have to make anything up. Martin, what do you think about this one? A way to say deliberately make a situation seem less serious. Which one of those words in blue do you think is a good fit?
Downplayed.
Exactly. The government will downplay an epidemic, right? We might downplay the dangers of Ebola because everyone is hysterical. That's very good. That's very good. Martin, can you read the definition for number 7?
Very common in a particular place.
Very common. Now, someone who is not Martin will answer this one. We've divided our group into Martin and not Martin. The not Martin.
Prevalent.
Say again?
Prevalent.
Prevalent. Repeat. Prevalent.
Prevalent.
Prevalent. It almost sounds like 2 syllables. Instead of, yeah, you can say it prevalent. It almost sounds like 2 syllables when we speak quickly. Prevalent. 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 Like that. Okay, very good. And that is the right answer. That is the right answer. So, in the next part, we've got some other words. I'll tell you what here. I want to get to the reading before we run out of time. So I want you just to look at the words at the bottom of page 5 and tell me if there's any words that you have never seen before. Okay? Just tell me if you recognize them or if you have a question. In fact, let's read them quickly. Read the first word, Alexander, on the left side.
Baseline.
Okay, Carlos, the next one below it.
Pathogens.
Good. Pathogens.
Pathogens.
Yeah. Path, with your tongue sticking out between your teeth. Pathogens. Okay? And Jose, the next one, the third one.
Okay. Thriving.
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 That's right. Jose, when you see one consonant, not 2,
Okay.
one consonant at the end of a word that has an ending like ing or ed or er, if there's only one consonant, it tells you it's the long sound. And the long sound is always the same as the name of the vowel letter. The vowel letter here is the letter I, so the long sound will be I. So, for example, if you see B-I-G-G-E-R, there's 2 vowels, 2 consonants, it'll be short. Bigger.
Bigger.
If there's only one consonant, like thrive, 1 V, it shows you it's the long sound, so I will be pronounced I. Thrive. And there's another way to know that. If you get rid of ing, it would be spelled Thrive. So that's another thing you can remember, the magic E. If a word ends with a vowel, particularly the magic E, the first vowel is always pronounced like its name. I would be I, as in thrive. Okay? So that's a little trick. If that's confusing, send me a message and I'll give you something. I'll summarize it for you and give you a little exercise if it doesn't make sense. Mr. Martin, what's after thriving? See that next word.
Pardon? Sorry.
Say the fourth word for us in that blue box.
Okay. Species.
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 It's an E. That's right. It should be spe, but it's not. It's irregular. Species. Species. Okay, and the next word, Sylvia.
Distinctive.
Distinctive. That's right. Okay, and Shinue, the last two on the right side for us.
The last one.
The last two on the right side.
The last two on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Track.
Track. Okay. Now, if there's any questions about these words, just ask. If not,
for this word, I don't know.
Which?
Pathogens.
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 Pathogens. Pathogens. That's right.
Oh.
That's right. By the way, does anyone want to give a quick definition for pathogens?
It's like microbes.
Microbes.
The substance that cause some illnesses in our body.
Mm-hmm. Say the word cause like an aw. That cause. Yeah, that's good. That's it. So, Shinue, microbes that cause illness are pathogens. How you get a disease is being infected with a pathogen. Bad microbes. Bad microbes. Not good microbes. Bad microbes. Okay.
Hi, teacher. Can you type the word microwave? I don't know this word.
Microbes.
Microwave.
Microbes.
Thank you.
This one. So bad microbes are pathogens. Like this. Bad ones. Like, for example, whatever would cause, well, microbes tend to be bacteria. So viruses, I don't know if we would, I suppose a pathogen could be either bacteria or a virus, now that I think about it. It's just the thing that causes a disease. So I suppose Ebola could be caused by a pathogen. I'm not really sure if it's just organic or if it could be viral too. But anyway, we're going to get a lot of this through the reading. So let's give it a try. Okay, there's a lot of paragraphs, but they're really short. So, Alexander, you start us off on the far left, the title, paragraph 1.
Like plague, anthrax, and cheese, scientists map bacteria on New York subway. Ellen U.S. in New York, 7th February 2015. A subway system has billions of inhabitants. The bacteria of Swiss cheese and kimchi, bubonic plague, and drug-proof bags and human skin. Now, for the first time, scientists have started to catalog and map the bacteria in a city subway, and they have found many interesting results.
That's true. What does the word bugs mean in this paragraph? Is that like roaches and ants?
This is like I know some. It is the same like the bugs in the computer. So in this case, it means like some diseases. Some.
Yeah, that's it. Bugs in this case means germs or microbes.
Germs. Yeah.
Yeah, germs. So they don't mean roaches. Drug-proof bugs. And by the way, also definition, kimchi. Has anyone ever eaten kimchi? Does anyone know what kimchi is? Going once? Going twice? Kimchi is Spicy Korean food? I'm pretty sure. Anyone been to Korea? Is everyone asleep?
No, I don't know what is.
We're going to Korea.
Spicy Korean food, kimchi. And let's see if we can show you a picture, a quick picture of kimchi with my very slow connection. Spelled wrong, but there, you can see it here. Let me make the picture a little bit bigger. Sorry for the slow. There's kimchi. So germs from this food is one of the things found in the metro in the New York City. Kimchi. Okay, very good, very good. By the way, Alexander, just repeat one word for me. I want to hear 4 syllables. Bacteria.
Bacteria.
But I need to hear ia at the end.
Yeah. Bacteria.
That's it. Because you were sort of blending them together. Bacteria.
Doing this.
Yeah, bacteria. Ia.
Bacteria.
Very good, very good. That's it. Carlos, take paragraph 2 for us. And if there's any questions, just ask along the way, okay? Go ahead, Carlos. Carlos? Mr. Carlos? Senor Carlos? Going once? Going twice?
Duke.
Mr. Carlos is sleeping. Let's see if Carmen is back. Are you back, Carmen? She had to step away. Carmen is still away. Let's see if Mr. Jose is there. Mr. Jose? Are we alone? Is there anyone here? Where is everyone? Oh, Carlos, Carmen, and Jose are having a private meeting. I think that's what it is. Let's see if Sylvia is there. Hello, Sylvia.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Take paragraph 2 for us, Sylvia.
Dr. Christopher Mason, a geneticist at Will Cornell Medical College, led a team that, for 18 months, tested the New York City subway system for the microscopic life forms that cover its turnstiles, seats, ticket booths, and stations. His team found meningitis at Times Square. Meningitis at Times Square, a trace of anthrax on the handhold of a train carriage, and bacteria that cause bubonic plague on a rubbish plague on a rubbish bin and ticket machine at station in uptown Manhattan.
Are there any words that you don't know in the paragraph? Turnstiles. How do you get into the metro? You have to go through a gate, right?
Yes.
So that gate has a little arm that blocks you, and you have to put in money or pass your pass, and then the arm releases, and you can turn it, and you go through the gate. That is a turnstile.
Okay.
Okay. Repeat after me, Sylvia. Geneticist.
Geneticist.
That's it. And bubonic.
Bubonic.
Like bubonic plague. And
bubonic plague.
That's it. Turnstiles.
Turnstiles.
And I think that was it. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, Mr. Shinue, I want you to take paragraphs 3 to 5 for us. All 3 of those are short.
Before I read in the paragraph 3, I have some question for paragraph 2.
Yep, go for
it. I don't know this word. Microscopic.
Microscopic. You know what a microscope is in a science laboratory, don't you? You look through a microscope to see bacteria. Just like a telescope allows you to see the planet Mars, a microscope allows you to see bacteria. So, something that is microscopic, is it big or small, Shinue? A thing that is microscopic, is it big or small?
A Extremely small.
Extremely small. So microscopic means extremely small. Extremely small life forms. Clear?
I have another question.
Okay. Well, why don't we
I'm sorry.
Why don't we do this, Shinue? Let's read the article, and if there's a major question, we'll answer it. If there are little questions, well, let's wait until the end. So I want to make sure we do read the whole article and have time to talk about it.
Yes. I understand your situation as a teacher.
So take 3 to 5 for us.
3 to 5. The team has strongly downplayed the findings of plague and anthrax. They say that there is only an extremely small trace of the latter. That rats likely carry the former, and that no one has fallen ill with plague in or around New York for years.
Repeat after me. Plague.
Plague.
That's
plague.
It. Good.
Results do not suggest that plague or anthrax is prevalent. The studies, nor do they suggest that New York residents are at risk. 5. In fact, most of the bacteria identified by the team are either harmless to humans or beneficial in the steady, thriving world of microorganisms.
Almost. Microorganisms.
Microorganisms.
The last syllable is nisms with an N. Nisms.
Nisms.
So, organisms.
Organisms.
Microorganisms.
Microorganisms.
That's it. Excellent. So now let's see. We lost Alexander. Carlos, are you back?
Yes, I am back. Sorry.
Okay, because we lost you before. Okay, so we're going to try to read the whole article and talk about it. If there's a major question, feel free to ask. But otherwise, hold your little questions until the end. Okay, Carlos, we're up to paragraph 6. Take it away.
Okay. Some of the results were expected and should be a gentler reminder for people to wash their hands. Mason said he also said that they found many bacteria of the same sort as those that are beneficial and helpful, like the one used for making cheese.
Now we know where the cheese comes from.
That's right.
So they found anthrax, which will kill you instantly, but they also found the kind of bacteria that turns milk into cheese. So maybe we just need to wash our hands. Still, it's kind of scary that they would find little bits of the bubonic plague and anthrax on a ticket machine and on the handrail of a stairway in the metro. Kind of scary. Carmen, take away number 7. Do it.
Okay. Bacteria appear to reflect the eating habits of various neighborhoods. All around the subway, bacteria associated with cheeses, brie, cheddar, parmesan, and mozzarella found on a New York pizza appeared. The distinctive bacteria of Swiss cheese were more limited to Midtown Manhattan and the financial district, and the bacteria used to ferment cabbage for kimchi, and oh gosh, what is that? Sauerkraut showed up in the financial district and Bay Ridge.
What does that tell you about the city? Swiss cheese was only in Midtown Manhattan, and sauerkraut was only in the financial district. What does that tell you?
Because it has to something to do with the kind of cheese poor people, middle people, or rich people consume.
Exactly. Rich people apparently like sauerkraut. Or there's a lot of Germans in Wall Street. I don't know.
And John, what is sauerkraut? Never heard of it before.
It's like pickled cabbage, and in New York, pickled cabbage. But you here in America, you put it on a hot dog usually. So
is it some type of cheese too?
Sauerkraut? No, it's just cabbage.
Oh, but cabbage. Okay.
But like you might have it on a hot dog at a baseball game. You can get sauerkraut. Maybe because in the financial district, people are always in a hurry, so they're eating food on the street. And sauerkraut's really easy to make. I don't know. But in Little Italy, guess what? Bacteria for Parmesan and mozzarella in Little Italy. There you go. So, Mr. Jose, are you back?
Yes.
That's so weird. The three of you disappeared at the same time, and now you're all back. I think you were.
No. Some kind of conspiracy against you.
Number 8, John?
The three of you disappeared. You come back, and then Alexander is missing. What did you do with Alexander?
Coffee break.
Coffee break. Ah.
John, I have to read the number 8, no?
Number 8. Take it away.
Okay. Bacteria associated with illness and infections were extremely common. Species that cause diarrhea and diarrhea and nausea, as well as E. coli and the bacteria that can cause skin infection and urinary.
That's it.
Urinary tract infections were common all over the city. The species that produce tetanus appear in Soho, and bacteria that cause dysentery appear at a station in the Bronx and another in Harlem.
That's it. There's a lot of diseases here. At the end, I'm going to quiz you on how many diseases you can remember. So what are some diseases we had here, Jose? Let's name them again.
Diseases.
Because they're hard to pronounce.
The diseases, diarrhea.
Like this, diarrhea. I know
diarrhea.
Yeah.
Diarrhea.
Yeah. Diseases and pathogens. E. coli.
E. coli.
E. coli. What else? Let's say the other difficult ones.
Dysentery.
Dysentery. Right. Dysentery. That's like severe diarrhea. That's right.
Dysentery.
And urinary tract infections. Urinary tract infections. Say that for me. Urinary. That's it.
Tract infections.
Okay.
Urinary tract infections.
Keep this in mind. I'm going to quiz you later. I think we're up to Sylvia for number 9.
Yes. Mason and his team collect more than 1,000 samples at all of New York's 466 open subway stations. They put the organic materials through a DNA sequencer.
No. Try again.
DNA.
Yes.
DNA sequencer, and then through a supercomputer. They identify 15,152 distinct species, nearly half of which were bacteria.
If half of which were bacteria, that means the other half weren't. What kind of creatures do you think they found?
Virus?
I wonder. Virus? Small pedigree animals? I don't know. I don't know what they found. Repeat after me. Subway.
Subway.
Yeah, not ooh, but subway. And there was another one. What was it? There was another one that you said. Oh, you dropped the ed. Collected.
Collected.
Yeah, be very careful not to drop the last syllable in ed words and s words. It's very easy to drop it. So it's tid. Collected.
Collected.
Okay, I think that was it. All right, and we're back to Mr. Shinue for number 10. 10, 11. These are short. 10 and 11, please.
The good news, the researchers said, it that these potentially infectious bacteria are not spreading sickness or disease throughout New York. They seem to be normal cohabitants of a city.
Keep going, the next one.
In short, this research conclude the subway and city are about as safe as everyone thought.
I don't think anyone thought they were safe, but okay. I don't know what that means, as safe as everyone thought. Have you been on the New York City subway? I don't feel safe there. Let's see. Let's go back to Mr. Carlos for 12 and 13.
Mason said people should not be concerned about getting urinary tract infections from subway seats. You should wash your hands, he said, and probably get some sleep, eat salads, and go to the gym. And that's about the same today as it was yesterday. In fact, he added, I become much more confident riding the subway.
Apparently Mason has some confidence issues. I don't know. I think I'm less confident when you find bubonic plague. I think eating salads, I don't know, doesn't make me feel confident.
Maybe he's downplaying the...
Maybe he is, and that's a good word. Maybe he's downplaying the findings. Okay, Carmen, 14. We're almost finished here.
Okay. Many findings made sense. Stations like Grand Central and Times Square, where there are more people, had more bacteria and more diversity among them. The Bronx, with its diverse neighborhoods and stations, had the greatest diversity of bacteria. Staten Island, with just 3 stops, had the lowest.
At the lowest, right. Okay, so if you don't know New York, it's a little hard to explain the difference, but the Bronx is way out there, far from the center, and it has all these ethnic neighborhoods that are not really mixed. So you've got your Armenian neighborhood, and you've got your Korean neighborhood, and they're sort of in distinct areas. So it has the most diverse bacteria. We're back to Jose for 15.
Okay. The researchers found marine bacteria at South Ferry, a station as South Ferry, a station that flooded during Hurricane Sandy.
Don't forget the ED.
Flooded.
Good.
Okay. That flooded during Hurricane Sandy. But they were surprised to note the species included some normally associated with Antarctica and fish.
You know, Antarctic bacteria in New York City. It makes sense, right? You know, all the icebergs floating around the New York harbor. Last one, Sylvia, and then we're going to talk about this.
Yes.
16.
The next steps, Mason said, are studies of other cities, which have begun in Paris, São Paulo, and Shanghai, and continue studies of New York, for instance, to see how the results change with
the season. On the right.
With the season, he said he hoped the research would provide a baseline of research for health officials and geneticists. And could help health officials to prevent and track disease and pathogens.
It doesn't say disease. Look again. Track what? It's plural.
Diseases.
Diseases, right. And one more time. Geneticists.
Geneticist.
Ticists.
Thesis.
Yeah, but you drop.
Geneticists.
Yeah, that's it. That's better. You have to get that S. Cysts. Cysts. It's
And
hard.
geneticists.
That's it. That's it. That was good. That was good. All right. You can ask questions, and I want to do a little test. I want you to tell me, give me your questions, but I also want you to think about how many words you can fill in these circles. Diseases and symptoms, science and medicine, trains and transport, and if you like, New York City stations and districts. But feel free to ask questions as well. If you've got questions, lay them on me. Any questions? No questions? Good. Okay. How many diseases, what words can we put in the circle in the top left side? What words can you remember?
Meningitis.
Pronunciation, meningitis.
Meningitis.
Meningitis is correct, and that's a good one. I'll see if I can write these for you. Okay, what else besides meningitis?
Diarrhea.
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 So
Diarrhea.
the pronunciation is really different than the spelling. Okay, that's
Diarrhea.
good.
Diarrhea.
Yeah. Is that it? Got
E.
two.
coli. E. coli.
E. coli.
E. coli. E. coli.
E. coli are bacteria. That's good. Yeah. What was a general word, class? A general word for germs. Not a specific word like E. coli, but a general word. Some of these even more general than that, even simpler than that.
Bugs.
Exactly. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Bug-resistant bugs was mentioned earlier. Okay, you can see these words in the chat window. Okay, that's good. Any other words come to mind? Besides meningitis, diarrhea, bugs?
Dysentery, I think.
E. coli was another one. What was that, Carmen?
Dysentery.
Dysentery.
Dysentery. The stress is on the second.
Dysentery on the first.
Oh, dysentery.
Dysentery, like this.
Dysentery.
That's it.
Urinary tract infections.
Urinary tract infections. Urinary tract infections. That's right. And tract is spelled like tract. It's a little bit unusual, but that's how we spell it. It's not track like a racetrack. Tract. Okay, very good. Now, what about science and medicine? I'll give you one. Remember this one, Shinue? Microscopic. That was the one that we mentioned earlier. Microscopic. So that was a science and medicine word. Are there any other science and medicine words you can recall besides microscopic?
DNA sequencer.
DNA sequencer is very good. DNA sequencer, the thing that tells you what kind of DNA, identifies it. That's very good. DNA sequencer. What do we call germs or perhaps even viruses that cause illness?
Microorganisms.
Microorganisms. Microorganisms. Now, microorganisms are not necessarily bad.
Microorganisms.
They're not necessarily bad. What do we call the bad microorganisms?
Virus.
More generally. Because they could be viruses, or they could be bacteria. I'll give you a hint. Begins with a P.
Plague.
That's too specific.
Okay.
It's a technical science word for a microorganism that causes disease. Begins with a P. First
It starts
syllables
or it ends?
begins with the P. P like Paul.
Another word, another letter, please, of clue.
P-A. P-A-T.
Pathologic or something.
P-A-T-H. P-A-T-H-O. P-A-T-H-O-G-E-N-S. I put it in the chat window. Someone say that word for me.
Pathogens.
Pathogens. Yeah, that was another good word for something. Microorganisms that are bad are pathogens. Here's a good word. Sylvia, what do we call people who study genes?
Genetics. Genetics.
I think it's 4 syllables. Geneticists. 4 syllables.
Yes.
Say it for me. 4 syllables.
Geneticist.
Okay, you're still dropping the S a little bit. So just say it like this.
Geneticists.
That's it. Geneticists. Geneticists. You have to practice that.
Geneticists.
That's it. Perfect. That's it. Very good. Very good. Okay. Listen, I'm going to put answers for you. So if you want to go back and do these exercises, you'll see some answers at the end of the document. I don't think they're there yet, but I'll put them there. But I want to ask you, we've got just a minute or two left. I'm just curious, has reading this article made you more or less comfortable with public transportation? What's your opinion?
I am confident of my body. I feel safe taking public transport.
Because you're strong.
Yes, I am a serious guy.
You eat salads and wash your hands, so there can be no problem. That's what he said. Eat salads and wash your hands.
I never wash my hands.
Well, it might be a good idea to do it if you.
But I am still healthy.
It might be a very good idea if you go on the New York City subway to wash your hands. What about this, Mr. Carlos? Take this question. Would you like to know the results of a similar test in? Where are you? You're in Madrid, aren't you?
Yes.
Would you like to know the results in Madrid?
But it's not necessary to do with public transportation. I read about an study about the microorganism that there was on a screen of a smartphone.
Yeah.
And it's incredible the amount of microorganisms we have in this place.
Like don't pass your smartphone to me, in other words. Is that the idea? Wow.
But of course, I will be interested to know about the underground in Madrid, for example.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I just hate public transportation for every reason, and this is just one more reason to hate it. So, what do you think they would? Well, actually, you know what? I just looked at the time. We actually have to start the next class. I'll tell you what. What I'll do here is I will put in 2 sets of answers right now in the document. And if there's any questions, so these relate to the word bubbles and the keywords from the beginning. And you'll see them on page 9. Okay, so I'll give you a few suggested answers. But if you have any questions on your own about this, send me a message and I'll try to help you out. Okay, and we're going to stop here and I'm going to start the business class. So come back in about 30 seconds for that. We're going to play a very fun game where you get to network like a top corporate executive. Use all of your skills from our leisure time activity module. I'll be back in a minute. Bye for now, everyone. Wash your
Thank you.
hands, eat
Bye.
salad, and
Yeah.
wash your hands.